Hello, this is the Trade Ideas Market Recap for Thursday, May the 22nd. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of the trading room. This is the address to get into the room. Before I go into the trades that I posted in the room today, I have to give a shout out to one of the traders in the room named Paul. He came up with a couple of really nice trades that he posted in the room, and I'd just like to go over them right now. Now, the first one was a bounce play, and it was on sale, SALE. Now, I did not take this one nor the other one, basically because on my bounce plays, I need to have a stop that's a lot tighter than something like this. This is 26. Well, here's the last red candle. So there's 27.03, and there's the top of it at 27.71. So obviously, it's way too wide a stop. So because typically what I like to do is take the trade when the green candle goes above the top of the red candle, the last red candle. So it just didn't meet my conditions. But nonetheless, he took the trade, called it out, and look at this. I mean, I don't know exactly when he got in, but I think it was probably around this level right here. We'll just say around 26, 27. And I think he rode it all the way up to this level, so almost $1.50. So that was a really nice trade by him. And then he followed that up with another one, APOL. And same sort of thing. I mean, again, I can't take these. It just doesn't fit my eye. The stops would be way too wide. And but nonetheless, he made the call in the room, and I think he probably got in right around this level here, and I think he got out around here. But you can see how choppy it was. So it would have been a definitely a nervy type of a trade. I suppose in something like that, you just take less shares if you have any confidence at all in it. And why I say if you have any confidence, if you have confidence in the sort of setup, but you have to have some protection in case it just wants to continue down. So you can take less shares, I suppose. Again, not fitting exactly my eye, but that's the beauty of the trading room. We have different types of traders in there. That's why I encourage you to come in because this is something that maybe a person a little more risky with more who tends to take more risky type trades would take. I'm just not that type of a person. So let's take a look at the boring ones that I did today. The first one was SN. Now actually, before I go over SN, I just want to take a look at WY. Let me just type it in here. And let me 1 second here. There we go. WY. Now, WY, if you saw the video yesterday, you know that I was going to start looking at this is my old custom from almost 2 years ago. And I had some really nice trades yesterday, and so I thought I would take a look at it a lot more closely again today. So WY, and only on the long side. Again, the market was okay today, so only on the long side, and anything in green is long. So WY came to my attention, and the alert came at 30:45, so right in this area here. Now you can see what happened. It chopped around a long time here, and I actually said in the room that if it got to 30:54, I believe it was, I actually had, or 30:53, I can't remember. Now this was after the high here. I put in what I call an anticipatory order, so that if it got to that level, I already had my order set. And as you can see, it didn't happen. And so I'm glad I didn't obviously jump the gun and take the trade here, as it basically fell off for the rest of the day. But SN came in, and let me just get SN up. And SN, not saying this is a fantastic trade, but you can see what happened at 10:37. The alert came in right here at 34:17, right in this area here. And so I did take this trade right in this candle here. I did take this trade at 34.21, and immediately it shot up. And of course, I was hoping for a lot higher. I think when I look at the daily, there was really, on the daily chart, it looked pretty good. It had a, oh, here we are. It had a really nothing above it. So I thought it had a lot more opportunity than WY, which when I look at the daily on WY, I guess I should have showed you that before. You can see, I mean, there's some resistance up here, up this level, so not as much blue sky. In other words, not as much resistance, or more resistance on top of this one than there was for SN. But SN really didn't pan out that well. I did take out, oh, sorry, let me just bring SN up again. I did take SN out, half of it at 34.44. as I usually always do. When something really moves quickly, I always like to take out half, protect uh, my gains, and then I'll ride the rest. And if it goes up, great. And if it comes down, I will definitely get out. And that's exactly what I did. I was really actually fortunate because it really shot down quickly. And I actually took out the second half at 34.17 for a small 4 cent loss. So had a 23 cent gain on the first half and a 4 cent loss on the second half. So not what I wanted. I mean, I really was obviously hoping that this would extend up, but I mean, it really collapsed after that. So and now I should really look at BWP too. Let me just get the link going. BWP. Now, BWP, I did not take the trade. You can see though it did trigger at 1808 and the time was 11:22. So it'd have been right in this area here. But you see how it was really frothy. Now, why I really mentioned BWP, because if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that I was really when this happened, I was really all over this stock, and I thought, if it ever could break above 16, here's 1579, the high of this, that it had a huge gap to fill. Now, I freely admit that I didn't really follow it that closely because it was taking so long. But look what's happened. So if you took a little bit at 16 and just sort of rode it, because these are daily chart. I mean, right here though, I guess if you had taken it right in this level here, you would have had to ride it for maybe a couple of weeks, but it really has accelerated now, and who knows? I mean, there's still a significant gap to fill if it wants to. Another almost $6 or $5.50 or so. So, but that is one that definitely got away from me. I really kept a lot more close watch on it, especially when I saw it on this candle here. But it's tough to watch them all. Now, the next trade I did was CVS. Now, CVS came from my break of the 20-day high. And again, if you're not familiar with this, it's not just a break of the 20-day high. What I do is I do a scan the night before. I assemble a list of stocks that meet the criteria. One of them is how close it is to the 20-day high, but there are other things that I'm looking for. And I get this list, and then I put them in this top list. And what happens is that when the stock breaks the 20-day high, it'll turn from the row will turn from white to blue. So the 20-day high for CVS was 77.13. So that's why this is now at 77.25. That's why this column or row is now blue. Now, not I again, this was not ideal. You can see that it actually broke early in the day, or fairly early in the day, about 10 o'clock at 77.13, right in this area here. So I did receive the trigger, but immediately it went down and then it chopped around right here. So typically that is not what I like to see on these stocks. Typically, a lot of these stocks, what happens is that they're not dynamic, they're not explosive, but they're usually fairly steady. So when the high gets broken, they kind of inch up. But you can see what happened here. It came down, but when it came back up the third time, really, I decided to take the trade. And so I took the trade at 77.14, right on that break. And I rolled the first half up to 77.36. And then as it started to come down, actually I held it right here, but the second time it came down, I decided to get out at 77.20. Again, not a typical 20-day high break for me. What I would say is that they look a lot more like this, and then maybe a little bit of consolidation, and then maybe a little bit more up, but they generally are not this choppy. But at any rate, did make some profit on that. The next trade was TSN, and TSN, now this was super choppy. Now this came in on my bounce alert. If I just bring this in quickly, you can see the bounce alert was actually fairly early. And we were all watching this. Well, I know some of us were watching this. And so, I mean, the bounce alert came around this area at 30, what was it, 38.92, but it chopped around. And again, for my bounce plays to work, I'll usually like to see them working immediately. So all this consolidation, not in love with it, but decided that if this consolidation right here, and I said I was going to put in an alert on my brokerage platform at 39.10. And so at 39.10, I got the alert and I took the trade at 39.11. A little pop up, but then it came back down. And so I just wasn't going to mess around with it. And so I took a small loss, 4 cent loss on it. And you can see, I mean, just very choppy, difficult to trade, but I would do it again because, I mean, look, at 39.10, with a little bit of consolidation here, you get this wide range on a 2 minute candle. And I mean, it had a lot of room to run. For it had maybe 60 cents in it if it could have continued, but it just didn't. So that was that one. And then the last one was a WFC. And this was a tough, not a tough one. This came on my 20-day high break. Right here, you can see that the break was at 50.01. Happened, I think it happened earlier in the day. Yeah, it happened right here, and I ignored it. And again, you see how it came down. But I thought, okay, we're getting towards the end of the day. The financial sector was fairly strong at that point, and so I thought, okay, maybe I'll take this one, and that's what I did. I took it at 50.02 as it broke. 50.01 was the 20-day high, so I took the trade at 50.02 and it just consolidated here forever. And there were a couple times when the SPY was moving up and this wasn't. And I literally said in the room, if the bid got down, if it broke down through 50, because the bid ask was 50, 50.01 for all this time here. But the minute that the bid went down to 49.99, I exited the trade. So I took a small 3 cent loss on that. I wasn't looking for much on this. I was hoping for maybe 10, 15, 20 cents at the most. But with a very tight stop, that would have been a good risk reward. So that is it for today. Now, tomorrow could be very slow. I said that before, though, on the Fridays before a holiday Monday, and I've been surprised. So I don't know what to expect. You would think that as the summer approaches and the Friday before a holiday, it could get very slow, but I'm certainly going to be in there and, and slugging away. So I hope to see you in the room tomorrow. Here's again how to get into the room, and good trading to you tomorrow.